Bob.
And Josh.
And I like to make stuff. Today we're both going to turn a single board
into all of this.
Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to have a challenge between Josh and myself. I hate challenges. Josh does not, so that should make it interesting as well. We've got two boards here. Tell us what the challenge is.
If you've seen videos at my house, I have a huge collection of rough sawn walnut that I bought off Facebook a long time ago. The challenge is to take two of these boards that are kind of considered trash and make something really nice out of it for a Thanksgiving meal or like a holiday spread.
So we're using Thanksgiving, it's coming up soon, so we're each going to make something that we can use at that meal. And if you look at these boards, they are not in great shape.
They're bowed, they're checked, they're cracked, they're not great.
Got huge cracks that run down here. One is in better shape than the other, and so we have to decide who gets what, and to do that, we're gonna rock, paper, scissors. So, 2 rock, paper, scissors. The way I've always done this is rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
That is the only acceptable rock, paper, scissors method. Winner picks.
Winner picks, okay, ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ah!
I'm glad that I won, but I still don't know which board that I won.
To be honest, I wouldn't mind having the bad board.
You thought that was the bad board?
Because of the long crack.
Okay, well, when you work with rough sawn wood, it has some nuance. Like the piece in my right hand is quarter sawn, so you see that it's more straight, so it's gonna be more stable over time. Right. It's a lot more dense. And this piece, because it cuts this direction, and it has a crack in it, and it has a nice bend, if you want to do a smaller project, you can cut these up and use the planer and the joiner to make smaller boards. So if it's something that's going to be longer, this is probably the board to use. Something that's going to need more like a wow factor, definitely this one. So I don't know what you plan on making.
I think that's the thing. I don't have a plan.
Yeah.
You do have a plan.
I have a rough idea.
So I don't. Which means I'm looking at these at like, I could probably cut that up into smaller pieces and make something smaller out of it.
Gentleman's agreement. I will take this one.
Okay.
You can take that one.
Cool. Exactly what I wanted. All right.
When working with this rough sawn lumber, a lot of the ends are kind of tapered, or sometimes they have live edges, and this would normally be trash. But when you plane it down, you join it, and you sand it, it can turn into a really beautiful piece of wood. And this is what we're relying on for this project. We're gonna take something garbage, or make something that looks really, really pretty.
And there are a couple of rules. We're not gonna use other wood unless you swap it out one for one. We can use hardware. We can use any tool in the shop and any consumable in the shop.
Yep.
So everything else is open. You have your idea, so why don't you explain what your idea is first so I can come up with one.
It's gonna go awfully dusty in this project. So my idea is to make a big serving platter, tray, cutting board-ish type thing. So I like to host a big Thanksgiving or Christmas meal and cook a big turkey and sometimes a ham. And so I want all of those proteins to be on one big serving tray with some nice like hardware handles on the side. So I like that I have the quarter sawn one that is a little more straight, and the pieces I can probably get some longer dimensional lumber out of. If you know me, I like to work in Fusion 360. I purposely did not do that on this project because Fusion assumes that everything is a nice dimensional piece of wood, and when you're working with this kind of wonky wood, you're not gonna get what you expect, so you have to work with what you have.
So I was thinking of making a stack of pieces that I could put on the lathe, hollow out, give a contour to the outside, and make napkin rings. So like an interesting outside shaped napkin ring.
That's
this
cool.
is way too much wood for that. So I could do that with a section. I was also thinking about making a plate of some sort. And there's enough material to do all those things. There's not enough time because we forgot to tell you that we also have 2 days, 2 full work days to get this done. So I'm still have to figure out what I'm gonna make.
I work with walnut a lot, so I have a bunch of color pencils all around my shop because they show up better than just regular lead pencils. So, a little tip. If you want to know specifically how to use...
Let me turn on the jointer while the dust collector's running and then talk to the camera.
If you're interested in milling lumber with the jointer, the planer, and the table saw, we have a bits video all about it. We're not going to go over it in this video, we're just going to get to work, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I wonder how that would have changed that much.
What's the hiccup?
So
Okay.
the joiner is doing something weird. The outfeed is wrong, so you're not really getting a good joint from it.
Yep.
But luckily, all I need to do is glue these two pieces together. So I'm gonna run them through the sander and get flat sides and then glue them up.
So that happened by the outfeed table being too low. So it's supposed to, like, the cutter, the top of the cutter and outfeed are supposed to be the same height. So if it's not, then you tip it down, and then you're just like, you're tapering a board.
I wonder how it changed.
I don't know. That's better now. And that big clog is gone. So now if you want to use it, it's clean.
The bearings, one of the bearings is exploded.
What?
The face popped off of it. And
So this is fun. Whoa. Okay. Sabotage.
so that's no good.
Was that conveniently after you used it? These three are going to be the bottom panels of our serving tray and cutting board. Some of these edges are not cleaned up yet. The outer walls are going to be taller, so all three of these are going to get planed down so that these will stand up higher. And then these two boards will act as ends with curve cut on there. I'm not quite sure yet, but this is what we're going for.
We've been going for, I don't know, an hour maybe. Let's kind of catch up on where we are. You've got a bunch of very straight, very clean looking boards.
Yeah, once I got the joiner dialed in, it was much easier to make these dimensionally stable. And because of the board that I chose, it has longer running grain. Some of it's tighter, it's got some knots, but I am on track. You have fabric.
So I came up with 3 ideas right off the bat. One, I want to make the rings for the napkins.
Yep.
So I glued up 2 pieces over there that will eventually turn on the lathe. I also glued 2 pieces together to make a little bowl tray thing.
That's cool.
Which I'm going to scoop out on the inside, so it's going to be kind of deep.
How are you gonna scoop it?
With the angle grinder and the
cutty
scooper
spinny thingy?
thingy.
Not your fingernails.
Not my fingernails. This came to me with the offcuts. I'm going to make a trivet, and so I cut these little shapes out of these kind of leftover strips. And the whole idea is to take a piece of material here and then glue these strips down so that they are like that. So
That's
that
cool.
creates a space in here for the heat to dissipate when you set something on top of it. Some of these are going to have sections missing to kind of let air flow a little bit more, and that'll help me make it a little bit longer. So I'm going to cut these pieces down to length, glue them onto this material in this, and then you'll have kind of a flexible trivet thing.
That's cool. So
we did.
not only do we have the janky wood, I had some walnut scraps left over. So I have a bunch of random offcuts, long pieces, skinny pieces over there that we can pull from if we need to. I thought I was going to have to make this entire thing out of scraps once the joiner started eating away at all my on my wood here.
Well, these long pieces, these are some of those scraps. They happen to be about the right thickness for the pieces that I was already working with, so I just went ahead and grabbed those. There's less work to do.
Cool.
So I got to cut these down to length, and then I can glue these up. And I'm doing this so that I have something to do while those other two pieces are glued up. So tomorrow for me, or later today, is going to be a lot of carving and turning and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have to clean up some of these edges on the table saw, and then I have to put this hardware. I don't remember where I got these, but I want to use these as handles because the walnut and the brass looks really nice. So I want to put this somewhere like this so you grab it on the sides.
Okay.
And lift it up. So I want to match this radius. So I got to figure that out. I got to bend something to trace it.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
It's getting there.
Yeah, it's funny, like we both have basically the same material to start with. You're doing one big thing, I'm doing several small things. Yeah, let's keep moving on it. Make a second thing because I was making a second thing.
Just because you made a second thing, I'm making more. I'm making like 10 things now.
Oh yeah, well I'm gonna make
Yeah.
50 things. Walnut toothpicks.
That's pretty, it's not a bad idea.
It will be interesting to see if this works because I'm trying to only put the glue on the side that touches the fabric so that the pieces are not glued to the one in front of them. I want it to be flexible so you could maybe roll it up and put it in a drawer, but I don't know if that's actually gonna happen.
Question, can I use a dowel? I will sacrifice
Yes, you can use the dowel.
these pieces.
I use stuff out of the scrap bin, so yeah.
Okay, good.
Go ahead and ask this
Boop.
unplanned question.
That I didn't ask you earlier. How's it going?
It's going all right. I'm kind of making it up as I go, and I'm gonna use this thing to scoop out the bowl, and I've never really done that before.
I've used this one time whenever we got it. It makes a huge mess,
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
like massive.
So this thing's gonna like scoop out the wood. It's called a turbo plane. It's got some little cutters on there, and it's just, you know, a way to get in there on the inside of the surface. So I've got the bottom flat, so that sitting down flat, I'm gonna scoop and keep some texture in the top, probably keep some texture around the outside border, and that's as far as I've thought.
So you say this as far as you've thought. Like, is this whole challenge pushing you?
Yeah, it's making me not overthink things, which I think is a big thing I do. Like I plan to projects to what I already know how to do or things I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And this is just like, well, I gotta make a thing, so let's do this. I would never do this on my own, like, I should make a little bowl with the turbo plane. No, I wouldn't do that.
So they're super simple. These little name tag dealies. I drilled through some by accident, but there's gonna be like a sticker that should be arriving tomorrow. It's gonna go on the front of these that you can write stuffing or whatever on the front. But
Vienna sausages.
yeah, they all got little kickstands.
Day 2. So we are back in the shop after a night of glue drying and things, and I've got 2 projects just about done, ready for finish, and I've got a third one to go on the lathe. What are you up to?
I have one of my 2 done. So I have a whole series of these like name tag things.
Nice.
So these are pretty much done. I need to finish the serving tray. I have to thin down the handle pieces a little bit and then just assemble the whole thing.
This, I was gonna make some rings, and now I'm kind of second guessing that because I'm not very good on the lathe. And so I'm wondering if I can make a bunch of rings out of this that are equal, similar, or maybe I should just lean in and make them all different. Similar but different.
Because they are individual rings, you're not gonna see them together.
Oh, that's a good.
So
point.
your basis of comparison is really off because I'm not gonna undo my napkin
Pair them.
and just like grab somebody down the table's napkin
That's true.
and blah up my micrometers.
Well, one idea I had for this originally was to use the turbo plane. I was gonna put this on there, do scoopies on sides, half spin, and do that. and then bore through the center of it. So the outside was not a ring, it was a weird shape.
Yeah. I like that you're doing napkin rings because I've never been fancy enough to necessitate napkin rings at a party. So
Me neither.
We're going high class with the walnut,
That's true.
with the pinkies out.
This video is sponsored by Skillshare, which is an awesome online learning community where you can learn just about anything. For this particular project, we need to shoot some video and photos of the things that we're going to make. And so we looked into a course for DIY product photography. Now we found one by Mango Street Labs, which is excellent, shows you everything you need to know about shooting really good pictures of the things that you make. But that's just one of the many, many courses that you can find on Skillshare. And the first 1,000 people to hit the link down in the description are going to get a free trial of a Skillshare premium membership. This gives you access to everything on Skillshare. Whether you want to learn about coding or cooking or photography or music, you can definitely find something that you're interested in so you can invest in your own learning. Again, hit the link down in the description, get that free trial, go check it out. And thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video.
What happened?
Snapped. Man, I think it may have just been squeezed too tight, but look, it got almost to the bottom. Unfortunately, a lot of these cracked. So I had 6 of these because there's 6 people in our family and I was gonna make 6 like this. And so on a couple of them, I actually went back and used some 5-minute epoxy to glue them back together. So now I have 3 this size and I'm just gonna cut them in half and then they'll be a little bit thinner, but we'll have 6 to go around. And I got a lot of smoothing and sanding and all that stuff to get them ready for oil. All right, we got this thing all done. I wanted to point out really quickly that I have this much of the board left. I actually didn't use very much of the piece that I started with. You used most of yours.
Yeah, I used almost all of it.
One thing I really liked about this challenge idea is that the 3 things that I made are things that I never would have taken the time to make otherwise. I would not have used the power carver to carve something like this because it's just not a style I would think of.
Yeah.
But having a time limit and having material to work with forced me to try something new. And I actually really like the way the trivet thing came out because that was a spur of the moment thing. I'm very happy with these.
I was very surprised to turn around and see that you were cutting fabric. So it was really neat. And I originally thought that we have access to all the digital machines, that I was just going to use the laser or the CNC, and I didn't use any of those. And so that was a challenge for me, and I really like how everything came out.
Yeah, your stuff is very clean, very polished, very finished. Mine is very rough and kind of organic looking, which is different again for me, but I think they're actually worked together pretty well. All of this stuff, you know, because it's the same material, it's all focused on meals. I think it's actually a pretty good pairing of stuff.
I really like it. I think that we should go set the table.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for watching.
Hey guys,
Yeah?
I kind of wanted to do the challenge too.
So, Anthony was a that is ridiculous. So
How did you have time to make this?
Anthony made something.
That is beautiful.
Something.
But
So we'll just put this right here. Anyway, so that's it for this one. We've got lots of other videos, all that type of stuff. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time.
it looks like it's rubbing his butt, scooting across the ground. Into all of this.
He's a snake.
Into all of these.
Gotta keep
That's
that
too
face
fast.
though.
All of these.
Into all of these.
And all of these.
Into all of these.